Winning inspires me. Winning inspires me for sure. And then what really inspires me is my people, my partners, my team, my brothers. And when the days that are hard, that's what gets me out of bed. I think Nikola Jokic is probably going to go down as one of the best to ever play the game. So, working my tail off, working my ass off, so he can maximize his time in the NBA. Same thing with Russ. I think he's going to be a Hall of Famer too. So doing whatever I can to try and get him a ring, and just holding up my end of the bargain. So at the end of the day, these guys win too. And I think that's what really inspires me.
Oh, man. Aaron Gordon, every year AG does something to raise the bar for Mr. Nugget. That quote to me is like all-time high.
He's really just... Nobody has exemplified Mr. Nugget like this in a long time.
Literally anybody. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the DNVR Nuggets preview series. We're talking Aaron Gordon today. You saw that great quote. You see his stats down below. Well, let's talk about last year, what we were asking about Aaron Gordon. Last year's big question was, can he be the defensive anchor? Which is kind of funny. I was surprised when I went back and looked at that because the answer to me has very clearly been yes. But that question was a defensive one. This year's big question is an offensive one. You bring in Christian Braun for KCP in the starting lineup, presumably. Will bad spacing hurt him? Is he a guy that benefited from the great spacing that Michael Porter, KCP, Jamal Murray provides, and you lose a little bit of that, it hurts him? What do you think, Harrison?
Well, I just think that the Nuggets are going to have to just shift around what they do offensively and just their identity a little bit, where people are setting up on the floor. Because last year with KCP, things worked out, so well. You have him and MPJ on the wing, AG and the dunker. Everything just made sense. With Christian Braun presumably stepping into the starting lineup, they're just going to have to shift their philosophy a little bit. So I think the bad spacing will hurt him, initially, but it's kind of just going to be on the Nuggets and him to adjust and figure out how to make him still be really effective in whatever spacing they have.
We talked about Christian Braun's, with the spacing and having to knock down that three ball. Aaron Gordon's really going to have to knock down the three ball because there's going to be two guys out there that is going to be dared to shoot.
Sure.
And then also there's going to be so much, you're going to have to change your offense completely, a lot of continuity on that offense and free-flowing. But also, if guys are going to pack the paint, you're going to have two guys that have to knock down the three ball. Aaron Gordon is going to have to. He's going to have to make free throws. He's going to have to open up the rest of his game. And this is a big year for him offensively from beyond the arc. So, yes, that does hurt him, and it hurts the team if there are not those type of shifts.
Yeah, quite frankly, it does hurt him. And I wonder if it's another reason why everyone is asking if or prepared for a different rotation. And we haven't really considered that because it's not Malone's MO. Feels like maybe one's on the horizon. Maybe it's time now to reconsider this. So across 82, is it maybe Gordon with the bench a little more and Porter at the 4? We've talked about this. So I think it will hurt him, but that's a different question than does Denver have ways to sort of work around it. And I also like Wynn's greater point that the half-court offense probably just has to look a little different, which is something I'm okay with. So, yes, it will hurt him. How bad will it hurt the Nuggets? TBD.
I think it will hurt him. I don't think it's going to hurt the team overall a whole lot. And I don't know that it's going to derail his season. But you do look at it. 2 years ago, he had 178 dunks. Last year, 171. Those are both career highs by a mile. He had a nice niche going, the finale oop, all these different things. I think that that's a little tighter this year and that there's probably just a little bit of diminishing returns there. He's going to have to make an impact more from a three-point line. We know he worked on it this summer.
Yeah, we do know
I
that.
think he'll bump out a little bit more to the corner than he did last year. So I think there'll be a little growing pains for him. But ultimately, I don't think it affects the team too much. I'll give you a shocking stat, though, that I think really textures the season coming up for him. Shocking stat. Last season, did you know, he played just 295 minutes without Jokic last season. He was very tied to Jokic in the minutes. Those 295 minutes, most of those, backup center when Denver would go to just, hey, we're shortening our rotation for whatever reason and playing you at backup center. This year, you don't need that because you have Šarić. You have some other options there. But I do look at it and I go, Coaches look at staggering with a second unit and they think defense before offense. I know a lot of people think Michael Porter spacing the floor for the second unit at power forward next to Šarić. But I think coaches look at that and go, well, that's not going to stop anybody defensively. Aaron Gordon and Šarić, that's a good anchor defensively. So maybe that's your rotation. So do you think he plays more or less minutes with Jokic this season?
I think he's going to play at the exact same. I do
No
think
change.
that. I think that they're handcuffed. I think that that's a duo that they want to play alongside each other. I'd even go with less because you name those other guys that can
Right.
now step in and do those things. We already know what the offense looks like with Jokic out there. He now has his running mate right next to him that it's like, okay, we both know what to get the best out of each other. So I think that you're going to continue to see them handcuffed with each other with those minutes, and now other people are going to have to figure it out.
I think I'm probably with Dev. I just feel like the Jokic Gordon is such a good combination that, yeah, you can sub other guys in there and you could probably keep that efficiency or whatever. But I don't think I don't think they'll necessarily go away from that this year. You know, even though they do have Šarić there and you could not burn out AG playing him at backup 5 because of that. I just feel like we've got so many years of data on this and so many examples of them not going away from that. I think they'll kind of just run it back with those two playing together a lot this year too.
I'm going to say over. I just think change is coming. And maybe that even just means Jokic sits a few more games or rests a few more minutes here or there. But I don't know, like, of all the guys that have to be handcuffed to Jokic, I don't know that Gordon has to be. I mean, to get the best out of him, sure.
Everybody.
But, I mean, Gordon is still a guy that has a little more of an all-around skill set than he gets credit for because of how good a job he's done honing it here in Denver, refining it. Still a high-profile player at the time of his draft with good reason. I mean, he's not gonna average 26 on his own, but I think Gordon knows how to play basketball. So, could he? Will they? I'm just gonna say change is coming. I'll say over.
I'm going to say over as well. I don't think it's a lot over. I actually think it is going to be mostly like it has been in years past. But I do think that Šarić does provide you an opportunity to play Gordon in his natural role, power forward, alongside another stretch big, in a lineup that might just work. And if it does work, and Michael Porter at the 4 works alongside Jokic in staggered minutes, you go to it. And so I think there's a world where it happens. I don't know if it's an every night thing, but I think we see it. And more importantly, I think we need to see it. One of the things about the Nuggets is they need to have more versatility going into the playoffs, which means more experimentation, which means sometimes breaking up a duo that we know works really well together. And the other part is, does that duo need a lot of reps? They're going to get a lot naturally.
They don't need a lot, but God damn it, I love it.
It is fun. I love it as well. How about efficiency? Let's play a little over-under, shall we? 2 years ago, the championship season, his effective field goal percentage, 60.3. That was a career high. Last year, dipped a little bit, 58.4. Second best of his career. So we'll set the line at last year's number, 58.4% effective field goal percentage. Will he match, exceed, or fall below that? Vote.
I'm going to say under because of some of the reasons we just talked about, maybe slightly inferior spacing, maybe some adjustment periods. Again, that starting 5, it's not just about what Pope could do versus Brown could do. A big part of it was just the comfort and chemistry, just the way they didn't have to second guess the way anything looked at a certain point once they had enough reps together. They can get there throughout this year. They just have to get there. And it could include some adjustment. I'm going to say under because there's a lot of room for under. He was so good and so efficient last year. So
I'm going to go over.
Oh.
And a reason why is I think he's going to shoot the ball better from 3. When Aaron Gordon says he worked on something over the summer, I trust him on that.
Okay.
I don't trust all players when
True.
they lay out their goals for the summer and they say everything they worked on and what they were in the gym for. But when Aaron Gordon says, I worked on my shot a lot and I'm very proud of the work I've done on my jump shot, I'm buying it. I don't think he's going to magically become a above average 3-point shooter, but he shot 29% from 3 last year. I think he's definitely going to be into the 30s, maybe even approaching the mid 30s from 3. So just like when he said, I got to become a smarter player, and he followed through on that, I'm buying that he's going to come back a slightly better shooter than he was last year.
I'm going to go over, and I think it's more so of Nuggets knowing what they have and what they have to adjust with. Like, The KCP thing happened so early. It's like, okay, we have to adjust. Now you have to get better. Him talking about having to work on that part of the game knows that that was the part of the game that he needed to focus on most. Also, if you go to last year, Jamal Murray played so well or not so well, but better in the regular season last year. Nikola Jokic was an MVP. Like, if they're not playing up to that, I think it's on someone else that has to step up. Other things are going to open up, and I think it's Aaron Gordon. So I think that this is a year that he owns in on that offense a bit more.
I could see this year being about 57%, which is what he shot in 2022. So we go about 3 seasons back now. I think it might be in line with that. That's another year he was with Jokic. No Murray that year. Spacing was a little bit worse, but it was still super efficient. 57% effective field goal percentage is still great. I just think he's going to be taking more corner threes this year out of necessity, and that'll probably drag it down a little bit. Probably a few, not quite as many dunks. That'll drag it down a little bit, but not a whole lot. Let's pick the vibes up. Let's go online with D-Line for AG.
Let's go online.
Let's go inside the internet. No telling how strange it will get. We'll look at memes and we'll look at GIFs. Everyone will try to riff. It's online with D-Line today. Okay, back in the internet. Back in the warm confines of terrible jokes, cats wearing MAGA hats. Listen, I spent a lot of my time this offseason looking for traces, hints, rumors of our beloved Denver Nuggets, and I found a few things. Kale, if you wouldn't mind, let's see what's up with AG. AG, he had a pop-up store at his house this offseason. Now Kale knows where he lives. Not a great idea, AG. You didn't really think this through, but he did pull off the most brave, oddly attractive fit I've ever seen. There's no universe I could pull off any part of this. Kale, could you pull off these all over panda print overalls?
No.
Okay.
I think he's the only person in the world that could pull these off.
You know what?
He looks great.
You know what I would have paired it with? A shirt. But that's me. So he's got a man bag, no shirt, and panda overalls. He looks better than I've ever looked in my entire life. AG, you are Mr. Nugget through and through. What else happened this offseason, Kale, when it comes to our beloved AG? Something pretty momentous. He's got a brand new number. We all know the reason, but listen, is there any better way to show the world that you are new? You've got a new number. He rips his jersey. He's such a man. You've been to this very warehouse, Kale. Incredible stuff. All right, enough of this. Let's figure out the most important thing. The reason everyone's here. What is the emoji of the year as it pertains to AG Kale? That's right. It's the boom emoji.
We bring the boom!
All right, no, Kale, off. No. Listen, why would you do that to me? Listen, no. The boom emoji. He's bringing the boom, man. Aaron Gordon is back. He's been through some stuff. He's ready to pay it forward. I'm ready for some monster dunks. I'm ready for some full 50s coming out of 32, if you know what I mean. Going to be a big year from my man AG. Mr. Nugget, we salute you, and we salute all of you out there in the internet. Let's go.
All righty, guys. Time to get bold. Bold predictions for Mr. Nugget. Dev, start us off.
My bold prediction for Mr.
This
Nugget
one's
is,
so bold. This is the boldest prediction of the
can't
entire
wait.
sheet.
I just know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
You just know.
I'm a little scared.
Aaron Gordon is going to have his best year yet.
Career year.
It's going to be so good that he is going to make an all-star game as a reserve. He's
3
making
all-stars.
He's making it as a reserve. This is going to be the first year that Jokic is going to play with another all-star.
I love it.
They're going to be winning games.
Yeah.
But you know that matters. He's going to be alongside a better team. He's going to be alongside Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic for yet another year. He's going to make it as a reserve.
There's some forward spots opening up.
There is.
There
Carl
are.
Anthony Towns was the reserve last year. He's now out of the conference. Like, I think that matters.
This year, where everyone's like, the Nuggets got worse, and this is the first year they get 3 All-Stars, would actually be hilarious somehow. All right. You can't beat that. That's the
I
boldest.
can't beat that. I'm not even going to try. My bold prediction is I think the Jokic-Gordon two-man net rating, that's going to be the best two-man rating on the Nuggets this season. These guys are so good together.
It's a good one.
They've been playing together for so long, so many minutes. They can read each other's minds. They can, pass it to each other. They know where they're going to be at all times on the court. I think just the chemistry somehow could go up even from where it was last year when they created the finale oop. So I feel like those two are just going to have a year where they're locked in together.
I like it.
I'm going to say 70% at the free throw line. Aaron Gordon's done this before, but he's only done it 4 times in his career, only once in a Nuggets uniform. We talked about the working on his shot, the focus. I think the space. I think some things that are out of AJ's control are going to make his job a little harder this year. One thing that is a little more controllable, the free throw line. I'm going to say that Aaron Gordon, through sheer focus and the power of meditation, and also perhaps a little more time away from the injury to his hand, the dog bite, which
That's right. We forget about that.
was not insignificant. I'm going to say that we're going to see over 70% from the line from Aaron Gordon. That's one way where he sharpens up.
I like that one. I agree with you, by the way. I think that one hits. My bold prediction, you said they invented the finale oop last season. I went back. I went to the tape.
Oh, man.
There have been 5 total finale oops as defined by a Murray to Jokic to Gordon chain ends in an alley-oop dunk in the final 30 seconds of a game the Nuggets put away. It had to put them up by at least 4 points so that it was like a finisher, not just you go up by 1.
Yeah.
I did my research, fellas.
Dude, sometimes the finale oop is just a vibe.
It is just a vibe sometimes. It is. But this is, we say, actually a knockout punch finale oop.
Yeah.
That's the true finale oop. I think this year, 5 of them. 5 this year. I think we double finale oops. I think finale oop gains traction this year.
There's 5
I think
wins.
it gets mentioned on a broadcast at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe
There we go.
ESPN or TNT might even reference oh my gosh, a finale oop becomes a thing this year, guys. Very bold. Let us know what your bold prediction is for Mr. Nugget, a.k.a. Aaron Gordon, a.k.a. AG. He's got a new number. Let us know what you guys are thinking down below. And check out all of our previews in the preview series. Hit that like button. See you on the other side.